And now for real. Clark coming back. Boston one-on-one with Jones.
In their shoot-around, understanding that big
chemistry with last year's Rookie of the Year. Clark into the paint, hooks it up and
needed to play alongside her.
Here's Thomas dumping it down. Jones. You remember that one, don't you? Thomas again. Clark can't hit. Freight train going around Clark. Last year, first play and steals. Fire! In and Clark to Smith. Can't. Thomas shot put. Walms it to the corner. To Smith, her three.
Games.
Boston. Trout catching up to her as she
cut. Took two defenders.
Wheeler circling, dishing. Bonner dips in and
on her defender.
Sixth on the all. Smith will fire again. That one here. Thomas. Harris a deep one. 5. Clark on the bench right now. Melissa Smith running the floor.
Great sign for Indiana. A season ago this year getting the
but participate.
Catch and shoot. 3-point shooter.
Boston gets inside. Even a season ago. Second straight championship. Rebecca Allen, not a guard, but was a key.
With the Connecticut Sun. Outstanding.
Those first 4 seasons. Here's Carrington. Benlay sets the screen. Directing Stallone will fire. And Harris, another 3. Back bend, particular veteran team. That can be hard for a younger point guard. Door cut, Mitchell.
100%. Aaliyah Boston pick and roll. You know, is it both of these teams?
Here's Thomas barreling in. Let's take LA and their talented rookie. She plays with 2 torn legs and wanted to take the year off that it would require. The former in or in a game ever.
Yeah.
Positions for Connecticut this season. As Thomas was jawing with the Jones. Jones.
Strong physique, quick first step.
Austin dips inside and later not picked up. Goes right to the. Bonner a deep 3. She'll go behind the back. Caitlin Clark as it's knocked away. Working behind Boston. Clark. Anna Carrington in trend in front. More than 2 minutes into the second quarter. Boston. Jones able to let it fly. Can't hit. She was effective in it, and she had for everybody else on this team. And one thing we
see Caitlin getting a little frustrated right now with Hollis Garning is opening up for her teammates.
Thank you, Hollis, for a nice find. Boston to 1 overall picks. As a down to 1. Jones flip. And then
in the WNBA, it's very physical and some.
Harris long 2. Trying to lob. Spinning off one leg. From 3 will dip inside. And Holly.
Well, after you need it, she was leaning into.
She should be saying, how do you need the best?
Banham. Able to come near that pace here so far tonight. Carrington, drink. Jimmying into the paint, gets somebody. Having an offbeat wiggle. Kind of on beat, but it's not quite either. Here's Bonner's jumper. Now on the drive underneath. Smith. Some of that just credit to Carrington. Bonner, another jumper. And big screen from Katie. Banham a 3. She Clark's pocket. And late. There's going to be more physicality. Their step back jumper. That one roll for a logo 3. Out by Banham. And right call. She was going for the steal. Back Benlay separates and
Sir, knowing her defender could not help.
Clark, a good look from 3. Shine. Thomas spins, gets
on, but this is at least the 4th.
He never sits. And she said, you know, there was one game basketball that I felt tired because I had a cold. That's Carrington.
Made the right read. She's been disciplined on deep.
Can play with bursts of energy. Just the way Connecticut is attacked, even with the right now.
Bonner a 3. A quiet start to the game. Clark, wait. Harris will keep things here with Indiana. She picked them up early. Here's Smith. Wouldn't take it. Drop. Is winning the battle on the glass as Bond. Fronting Clark. Boston get edge again.
And that time, Katie.
Carrington swims in. Smith. Wheeler a 3. Wheeler 3. She has struggled so far tonight. Off a screen, gets a look. That's going to be an offensive foul. Parts of guarding someone is the mental. Racing inside, lays it. Thomas shovels, Bonner. Clark guarded by Harris. And Diana Taurasi. Here's Banham, her three. Here's Banham and hooking it in. Boston knocks edge, backs away from it, gets fouled. One.
Both have been terrific.
Space, finding Bonner. Tawana Bonner.
And then
All alone to the rim.
time has not caught up.
Mitchell night to watch Caitlin after her story out and forecast ahead as Warner, Katie Lou,
Figuring out ways that she can get others open.
Rachel Banham in this game, Clark in front, and a trial. Connecticut turnover, looking to evade Carrington and Thomas. That's good. Working Thomas, so physical. Smith back to it. Another chance. Smith able to finish off the.
I really like her connection though with Melissa.
Banham a three. Katie Lou can't hit the Thomas push shot. Banks back. Benley lays it in. It's a deep jumper, and that's one opportunity here for Indiana. Boston dips inside. Free throws here. The upcoming WNBA national team attacks. Clark
Right in to get to the line.
and the game has gone along. Clark, shot clock turned off. Step back jumper. You bet. Jones finds Thomas. Point. Connecticut lead. Here's Smith off one Lils. Harris. Thomas will. And Melissa Smith double. Harris forced it up. Wheeler zips into the paint and lays. Thomas bounces. Jones. Melissa, she'll want all of them.
Yeah.
Away. Boston. Thomas lobs it up. Bonner.
Amazes you so much. I'm going to go back to the motherhood pregnancy in the hospital. But
Clark draws two, finds one, and two to shoot. Boston, where they've been each of the last 15 games with at least 20 points. Only Diana Taurasi, who had 20 back. Clark will fire, and Tanham trying to shake around. Harris a three. She got it. The gauntlet at the corner. Berger gets bumped, will take, and after a slow score. Between two, bodies in. Let's take a listen into sounds of the game. Jefferson.
Clark up and early to limit.
Will fire. And last year when she didn't win MVP. Champion. Here's Clark storming in. Rounded. And 67. Connecticut in front. Wallace hits the. We haven't seen Melissa Smith in a while. Turnover from Clark. Open deep three, missed it. She will be back on our air on ABC. Away, left it short.
For Chelsea Gray, for however she's in terms of efficiency.
And now put up the long two. And 8 to shoot. Mitchell, not production from the others for Connecticut.
Here in the opening game.
Can't hit the layup. Nelson at 5. Lays it in. It's up. Down. Back Benley. Back Benley separates and
Today accusing Caitlin Clark as a spacer, knowing her defender could not help.
Back Benley. Here's Clark, a good look from 3. They've cut the deficit down to 9. Thomas spins, gets.
Our box score doesn't show fouls drawn, but this is at least the 4th.
Gets tired because she basically never sits. And she said, you know, there was one game playing professional basketball that I felt tired because I had a cold. 1 second left. Carrington.
fouled in the first half. She's made the right read. She's been disciplined on defense.
To coming in off of the bench where you can play with bursts of energy on the floor in longer stretches. Just the way Connecticut is attacked, they're going to need to get a player up. Even with the players, simply too difficult to complete right now.
Bonner a 3 late in the second after a quiet start to the game. Clark wait. Here's Wheeler, and a foul on Harris will keep things here with Indiana. Smith has 3, Clark has 2. She picked them up early. Here's to the reverse corner. Smith wouldn't take it. Drop. Yet for Clark, although Indiana is winning the battle on the glass, is 8 of 12 from the line. As Bond with Carrington once again fronting Clark. Boston shake Carrington meets the hedge again,
and that time Katie
comes up with a steal. Carrington swims in from Thomas. Great pass from Smith. Wheeler a 3, and then the one more results in the Wheeler 3. The debut of Caitlin Clark. She has struggled so far tonight. Here's Clark off a screen, gets a look. And that's going to be an offensive foul. And she said that's one of the difficult parts of guarding someone is the mental game plan. Here's Wheeler racing inside, lays it. Had a big first half. Thomas shovels, Bonner.
The other end of the floor, it's gone now.
Clark guarded by Harris. Tamika Catching, Tina Thompson, and Diana Taurasi. Scoring list. Here's Banham, her three. Quite a bit here with the 8 turnovers. Here's Banham, and a fin it out. Carrington hooking it in. Boston knock 8. Clark draws the hedge, backs away from it, gets fouled. The bell in a huge way here in game 1.
Both have been terrific.
Here's Thomas, lot of space, finding Bonner. 97 career points for DeWanna Bonner.
And then
This is it. Thomas all alone to the rim.
her age is not caught up to her. Mother Time has not caught up.
Mitchell. So many people here tonight to watch Caitlin after her story that you think about and forecast ahead as. And Mitchell to the corner, Katie Lou.
Because she does draw so much attention, figuring out ways that she can get others open.
Some good moments from Rachel Banham in this game. Clark, 62-51, Connecticut in front. And a trap rebounds. That is the 10th Connecticut turnover. Looking to evade Carrington, and up to the front court was holding her right leg. Thomas, that's good. Alyssa Smith working Thomas, so physical. Smith by Boston, fights back to it. Another chance, arms of Indiana. Great look, Smith able to finish off the...
I really like her connection though with Alyssa.
Harris wrapping around. Banham a three. Some space into the corner. Katie Lou can't hit the three. All over Clark. Here's Thomas, push shot. Banks. Benley lays it in. Harris, a deep jumper, and that's her ground. 2-for-1 opportunity here for Indiana. And hits her with the pocket pass. Boston dips inside. Loose ball foul, so it's free throws here. Let's take a look at the upcoming WNBA national team. Clark hops away, attacks, Clark.
Mitchell on her hip and then takes it right in to get to the line.
And the efficiency for that has picked up as the game has gone along. 12 points now for Clark. Shot clock turned off. 3 to shoot. Harris, step back jumper. You bet. Heads back to the locker room as Jones finds Thomas. 10-point Connecticut lead. In her WNBA debut. Here's Smith off one leg. Settles. Harris to shoot. Thomas will. And
box out after the contest.
Alyssa Smith closing in on another triple-double. Harris behind Thomas. Harris forced it up. Wheeler zips into the paint and lays. Thomas bounces. Jones.
Oh, that one.
Knowing Alyssa, she'll want all of them.
Yeah.
She is closing in on another. Over the hump without Connecticut completely running away. Boston getting ready to check back in. Thomas lobs it up. Bonner.
Well, Ryan, since it amazes you so much, I'm going to go back to the mother who's on bed rest for the last month of her pregnancy in the hospital. But
still getting it done at such a high level. Clark draws 2, finds 1. Clark gives it up to Boston, 2 to shoot. Boston helped guide Connecticut to the semifinals where they've been each of the last 5. Last year, Bonner had 16 games with at least 20 points. 14th season or later, only Diana Taurasi, who had 20 back, drags out Nelson Adota. Clark will fire, and here is Clark, guarded by Banham, trying to shake around her 9th. Harris a 3, she got it. Rebecca went through for you the gauntlet at the Boston. To the corner, Berger. Banham guarding her. Clark gets bumped, will take, and after a slow serve, she started 0 for 4. It up, gets it back. Dribbles between two, bodies in.
Legs.
Yes. Let's take a listen into sounds of the game. Jefferson.
Part in transition. They picked Caitlin Clark up in early to limit. Another one.
Here's Clark. Will fire. Can't.
It's the players in the WNBA.
Well, last year when she didn't win MVP as their best player, the two-time champion, Phoenix getting ready to take on the Aces. Here's Clark storming in, putting it on the deck, surrounded, and 83-67, Connecticut in front. Point from Rachel Banham. Wallace hits the leading scorer for Indiana with 20. We haven't seen Alyssa Smith in a while. Miss gets to it. 10th turnover from Clark. Here's Clark, wide open, deep three, missed it. Then she'll be back on our air on ABC. Here's Mitchell twisting away, left it short.
This is going to look for Chelsea Gray for however she under having a 50, 40, 90 season in terms of efficiency.
And now Berger put up the long two. And 8 to shoot. Mitchell, not ours, an outstanding production from the others for Connecticut.
Of their players have scored efficiently here in the opening game.
3 to shoot. Will drive it in. Can't hit the layup. Nelson. Berger on the drive. Lays it in. It's all.